broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the very first Killjoys AFTERBUZZ After Show. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ. Hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up if you're in the chat roll. And we're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can subscribe there as well. We're going to jump right in. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. I'm not enjoying the song as much as my co-host. But you can tweet at me during the show at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. Zach, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm Bangarang.
Sure.
I am Bangarang.
You're so Bangarang right now.
Why don't you tell me where they can find you on Twitter?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson.
And Stephen, who is really Bangarang.
Zach's Bangarang was on fleek, I gotta say. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, and I literally just finished watching the first episode.
Yeah,
so
what'd you guys think?
It was it had the reminiscent good parts of Firefly without being sure run by somebody who I know will get the show canceled after one season.
Okay.
For no fault of his own.
Right.
I love Brian Fuller, but they just take his shows away.
That's true. That's true. Zach, what do you think?
It's good. You know, it was a good pilot in that we got the world is being established. I think my general rule for a science fiction show like this, sci-fi fantasy shows, is it takes 3 episodes to get going. The first episode has to establish a good universe.
Okay.
And that's really hard to do. We saw like recently we've seen a lot of, especially on Syfy, the channel, there are a lot of shows that have to spend a lot of time building this universe because they have to establish the rules. And this episode did a good job in like, okay, I'm on board with this universe.
You know what it really felt like? It felt I was watching the show and I felt like I was playing Mass Effect kind of. I felt like this was like a third 3 degrees away from Mass Effect main storyline with like just a random galaxy somewhere where the people have their own kind of thing going on, like a side story to Mass Effect.
Yeah.
You know, because it really felt like it had that like planets out there that you already have this overall established universe. Humans have already expanded everywhere, but there's no way one centralized government can control everything. So it's like this one cluster that are under these rules, which is interesting because it makes me think that the show can move into things like places outside of the company and outside of R.A.C, where maybe they're not having to play by the rules of the reclamation,
apprehension coalition.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about being in a space show is that if you do build a world big enough, you could, like, if this show gets a second season, move it into a new area and change the show in a great way.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of like a wide-scape show like this, is that you don't have to get stuck.
And they did a good job with this first episode introducing characters without killing them immediately. It did not suffer from Sleepy Hollow syndrome where it's just, we get this bad guy who's interrogating him in the beginning and suddenly they capture him and kill him. No, it actually has an interesting exchange where the guy offers him a job and then he turns it down, but I feel like that can play into a storyline later as opposed to just killing him.
They did kill Raleigh Dash. But I mean,
but we don't care about him.
He was a dick.
I actually really like this because it felt a lot like Dark Angel, which, if people remember, is Jessica Alba before she was Jessica Alba. One of the greatest shows ever on Fox that got canceled after 2 seasons.
I would wager to say Jessica Alba would say that she's always been Jessica Alba.
Don't use your logic. No, but it felt like if you take Firefly and cross it with Dark Angel and maybe add a tiny bit of Lost Girl, this is what you have.
I felt a little Defiance too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you the one thing we didn't really get was alien races, and I'm wondering if we will get that soon, or if this is supposed to be mainly a humanoid-dominated galaxy?
I think it's just humans because they didn't establish, again, world building. Within the pilot, they didn't establish any of that.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big piece. So I think they would have to have acknowledged it, like right here up top. Otherwise, it will feel really out of left field because, like we've said, it would have to be native, or like it would have to be a twist the characters find out about. If the characters just like mention next episode, oh yeah, there's some aliens over there in the corner, it's gonna be awkward. But if they discover that aliens being part of the show, that's the only way that I think aliens would feel natural to the storyline.
The only way I would see it, not to get into predictions, is season 2 they leave the quad planetary system, the J-star cluster, and move on to other planets and moons, and that's where they find the aliens.
Yeah, exactly. But that's again the characters discovering it. Yeah.
I think that's an interesting point. I think one of the interesting things about this show is that they're not trying to make it too futuristic. There's planetary discovery and there's like people living on a different system, but if you really look at the technology they're using, it's not really that far from our own. Mm-hmm. So it's almost as if somebody got on a space. We discovered like how to travel to planets right now, and just kind of had the same technology we have now, like having a USB drive in your nose ring, basically. And I thought the coolest part was the rivet gun, though, that he could like turn rivet rounds in and like bolt the door shut. That was awesome, and they need to make that now. But if you look at the technology, it's really very similar to what we have available to us right now.
Outside of space travel, none of it is impossible by modern technological standpoints.
Interesting.
But you're right. That's a cool world to live in. You don't need
It's relatable.
Yeah, you don't need hyper futuristic technology running around for the simple story of bounty hunters in space.
And it opens the door for Facebook, Spacebook.
Shut up, Stephen. And so it's begun.
Please move on,
I want to talk about this world that they're in because I don't know about you guys. I got real confused the first time I watched this. I went to watch this 3 times because, I'm used to our planetary system. And what we have is Kresh, which is a planet that is half underwater, and it has 3 moons, right? The first one is Westerly, which is where they dock. The second one is Leith, where the bazaar is, and their warrant broker office. And the third one is Arkin, which we didn't even touch upon.
Yeah.
It's just the 3rd moon that they can live on. I want to know what you guys thought of this quad planetary system, because I could have sworn quad means 4, right? And that's a planet with 3 moons.
Well, it's the moons you could consider planetoids, I believe. Like Pluto is not a planet; it's a planetoid. I think that's the word.
It's a dwarf.
I miss it.
Dwarf planet.
Dwarf
miss
planet.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, Pluto. Give back our Pluto. But it's similar to that. I mean, I think it's probably just one of those things that colloquially would get applied to.
Okay.
This isn't like there's 4 livable bodies that in space that these people can live on.
That's the thing is, I think what we noticed, they didn't talk about the 4th one. The 4th one might not be livable. It doesn't have to be 4 livable planets for a quad planetary system. I think they just mean 4 heavenly bodies in a gravitational field with each other.
Okay.
So it could even be just a sun with 4 planets. A quad planetary system.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that we're like a neptuple planetary system, except we don't have Pluto, so octuple planetary system.
Stop reminding me of Pluto. You guys are making me so sad.
R.I.P.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it could mean that there are 3 other planets that we just haven't talked about yet.
Mm-hmm.
These moons might not even count towards the planets in the system.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that just because there were 3 moons and a planet, it's that's like there's 4. So that I think that's what they're talking about.
And then we are introduced to the megacorp, the company, who owns everything. Let's talk about the company. Thoughts?
Big stretch on that name.
I just saw Nightcrawler last night, and all I can think of is Video Production News. And it's like, oh, what are we going to call our company? How about the company?
Yeah.
It's great. We can find so many stock logos on that.
Yeah, maybe the second idea we come up with, dissolve 3 hours later. I guess we're calling ourselves the company.
What should we name this organization for bounty hunters? Oh, the A.R.A.C. Oh, what were you saying? Oh, that's a great name. Let's call it the A.R.A.C.
You were staring at my chest, weren't you?
No. That was actually my idea for this bounty hunter thing. It makes a lot of sense. It's the
Stop looking at me.
Really? What does it stand for?
It stands for
Reclamation?
Reclamation.
Apprehension?
Coalition.
All right.
I think that's pretty much how it went down.
Probably. Before we get into the Killjoys, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's tuning in because we really appreciate it. If you don't know, we're also on iTunes. That's right. Go to iTunes, hit subscribe. That way you know there's a new episode each week. And leave a comment. If you like us, even though it's only the first show, give us some slack. Like us. 5 stars. If you don't like us, there's 4 stars you can hit. Any of the other stars don't actually work, so skip those. It's 5 or 4. Those are your options. And leave a comment. It's true. The other stars don't work.
If you do 5, though, we'll shut you out.
That's true. You will get a shout out on the air. We'll read your review and comment. But also, I want to tell you guys about another thing you guys can do. Real quick, go on to podcast1.com and let us know how we're doing. That is a quick survey, less than 3 minutes. Let us know how we're doing, what we could be doing well, what we are doing well, what we could be doing better. And, you know, you can always just drop my name. I'm kidding.
It's totes simple. Podcast1.com. Just wait for it to load and hit that banner at the top, and it'll be like a 3-minute thing with a bunch of little bubbles that you can, like, dink, 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 dink,
Totes
dink.
simple.
That's how you do surveys nowadays, with bubbles.
Totes simple.
It's like end-of-grade testing. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Except you don't feel ashamed for not knowing any of the answers.
That's
Scantron.
Scantron style. All right. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we move on to the Killjoys?
Well, I think it's just in the chat roll. Denise Envy Ghost 005 says the company reminds me of something from Aliens where the corporations own everything. I think it's a great point. There's it's a very common sci-fi trend, but it's also good because it sort of feels like we're heading there in real life, where like businesses become so powerful that they overrule the government.
Well, if you really think
become the
about
government.
what's interesting about that statement is if you really think about it, what happens if a corporation buys a planet? Like what happens if they buy it? They're going to be selling off the land, and then if you own the land, you'll be able to have a share in the corporation, like it is in the show. Like it makes sense because there's not going to be really a governing body that can afford to colonize these places if it goes the way it's going right now. I mean, the corporations are going to be the ones that are pollinating the universe.
It's all about who
I can't wait to live
power.
on planet Hardy's. It's going to be great.
You guys think that this is so like we're headed this way?
No, I just think that's what they're kind of playing on in the show.
Carl's Jr. dwarf planet.
I miss having Blockbuster as a planet. Now it's no longer a planet.
I'm gonna be honest. I would happily live on Apple Planet. Happily. Apple. Sorry.
Sponsored by Applebee's. All right.
Really bright. Like really bright fluorescent lights everywhere.
All right,
true.
so into Killjoys.
Yeah. So we meet the Killjoys and we learn their rules, essentially. That they kind of are above the law. They don't work for the company.
They're judges.
They're kind of like judges.
Judge Dredd, if you're not familiar with the reference.
Yeah.
I guess they're not above the law. They're part of it, but they don't.
They kind of have their own laws, though.
Yeah, so I guess in a sense they're really just like special agents. Like it's like James Bond, kind of. Like he's a lot of rules don't apply to him, but there are still laws that govern what they do.
I think rules do apply to him. He just ignores them.
Yeah, and then has sex with women.
No,
Right.
like License to Kill. Like he's allowed to like kill people if he needs to.
Okay.
No, it feels like they have because the governing body of this of the Quad Planet Series system is a company. They have a partnership with another company that provides a service, and through that partnership, they're allowed special perks within the government of the company.
Nicely put.
Can I
impressed.
throw out a crazy theory?
Yeah.
I think the company actually does own the rack.
Oh, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because in that scene towards the end, I was like the guy that's like helping her out, or like that's helping Dutch out at the end. I can't remember his name. That wants to sentence her. Like he wants to kick her out, and he's like, "I was overruled. Why? I intend to find out." Oh. So that leads me to believe that, like, the R.A.C is actually just, like, a cover so that the company can, like, there's an outside force that's totally involved here. See, where it's independent. It's like when you have an independent study to look at the land, and it's like they were actually just a branch of a company that is held by your company.
Like trials, like we're gonna look for a specialist to come into this trial.
Yeah.
The specialist is on our payroll, but they're a specialist. Yeah, just like that. That's great.
Insurance companies.
So we also learned that in terms of Killjoys, the warrant is all. That's their motto.
The warrant is all.
The warrant is all.
That's not warranted.
You're done. You're off this show. I can't.
Well done, sir.
But we also learned a little bit about the levels of the Killjoys. So a level 5 and above means that they are able to kill the people.
I don't think that's what it meant. I think it's more that the higher the level, the more eyes that are going to be on it, and the more protocol you kind of have to follow, and like the more high profile it is. I don't think it's always kill.
I thought level 5 was just referring to the warrant itself, not to the Killjoy.
Well, so we learned that Dutch is a level 5 Killjoy.
I think she's cleared to
take on level 5.
Level 5.
Right.
So it's a level 5 assignment. So she's cleared to do that.
I believe that they match, right? That she's trained to take on level 5s, therefore she is level 5.
Okay.
Yeah, she can take anything up to level 5, but I'm saying that level 5s aren't always going to be kill contracts, is what.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they're always kill contracts. But the interesting thing is they didn't tell us how many levels there were. Because I really don't want to start a show where the main character is at the highest level of bounty hunting there is. You know, I'd rather there be like 7 or 8 levels, and that way there's people who are stronger than her and who are like crazier.
Well, or it just doesn't like make a difference. She's just cleared to take on these warrants.
Yeah.
But like if that's not the show, I don't think the show is going to be about her climbing the ranks of being a bounty hunter. It's going to go down another direction. Like, we're already dealing with, like, political intrigue and, like, corruption and all that, and I think she's just, like, wading into some crazy thing that's going to pit her against her former employers.
Well, that, and there's probably going to be a bounty on her.
What?
Twist. Oh, man, God, no.
We also learned a little bit about what a kill warrant really looks like, whereas the kill warrants are guaranteed, which is such a, like, terrifying world to live in, that if someone's like, no, we're going to kill you, then somebody has to kill you, or more people are just going to keep coming, or they're going to kill the person who was supposed to kill you.
Well, they do say that it's they usually get thrown out. Like, kill warrants are very rare. That's why even the guy was like, oh, a kill warrant, I haven't seen one of those before. They're very rare. Right. So I feel like that's why they have that rule, is because they need to carry hefty to them if they're actually going to issue them.
Yeah. Interesting.
That was my thought.
I appreciate your thought. Did you have something you wanted to add? You look like you wanted to talk.
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the characters that we met, right? We have Dutch, our main girl, who is so kick-ass. Amazing. I love Dutch. Who may have been named Gala when she was little.
I think, yeah.
Dutch is a nickname, obviously. So it's Hannah John Kamen, who is the mysterious lead. She's so mysterious.
And she never pays full price for a meal. She always goes Dutch.
I see.
Oh.
Why did you allow her here? This is your fault.
I'm sorry, but no, she's very mysterious. Do you want to talk about her whole arc of this episode, really? Like, what we've learned about her, or no?
Yeah, let's talk about what we know about Dutch. We know that she was trained. We know that she was kind of raised to fight, it seems.
Yeah, like, it looked like some, like, Ra's al Ghul style, like, you were going to kill this beggar man to learn how to murder a person.
Every time you see a red box, you pull it out. You got to do it.
It was, the red box is a duty to perform.
Pretty much, yeah.
That'd be really funny if, like, someday, like, somebody just has a red box. It becomes, like, a weird trigger for her to, like, freak out. Like, somebody just says she's at a jewelry store and there's a red box on the countertop, and she's like, oh my god, and she runs out the door.
I wonder if their press kit was a red box that they send to people. That would be cool.
That would have been awesome.
It better be.
It's a duty to perform. You gotta watch the show.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been so cool. So we don't know a lot about Dutch. We just know that she's kind of kick-ass. This is her ship. The questions that are unanswered is where is she from? Where was she trained? How can she afford the ship? And, you know, Davin points out that someone put a lot of time and money into training her. The question is why?
She's kind of a badass and kind of has stuff that you wouldn't expect her to have. So... I mean, from the episode, we learn that she knows this old guy that we saw at the fighting ring, and then we see him again at the mansion. She thinks he's a hallucination, just to skip over main plot points. And at the end, she, of course, the last thing we see is she finds another red box, which is an assignment. So really, what I'm seeing here is there's more at play than there's probably three big powers, and you have the company, you have R.A.C, which is probably heads of the company are with R.A.C doing that, and then you probably have these other people who are involved in the rebellion, the revolution, that we kind of learn a little bit about through the church guy, because we're going to see God, and I think they're the people who have trained her. And these are basically just, she's doubling up on missions. So while she's out going around doing missions, it's a great cover to be a bounty hunter, because you have access to areas to do whatever they need her to do.
You think that she's undercover for, like, the revolution?
I mean, I think it's probably the revolution, yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like it's not the revolution in that it's like, what was this, Rooney?
The guy
that got killed with the nose ring.
Raleigh Dash.
Raleigh Dash. I was way off.
Yep. You got the R.
Yeah. I think he's part of some kind of revolution. I don't think whatever Dutch is involved in is the same thing.
Okay.
I think it's separate. I think it might be... There's a very distinct purpose to it. That's why I made the Ra's al Ghul comparison, because it felt like very much like League of Shadows, like we control the destiny from the background.
It almost feels like mind control.
Yeah.
In a way, like the red box is the trigger to the sleeper cell agent.
Yeah.
She maybe disappears for a little bit, comes back. There might be pieces of skin in her fridge or something. You never know.
Why is it in the fridge?
To keep it cool.
Yeah. I definitely thought that the old guy was part of the company, and that she was probably, like, that he raised her and trained her, and that she doesn't know that she's connected to the company. Or maybe she does know, but she, like, rebelled, which is why she has the money for her ship and for anything she needs. You know what I mean?
He's got to be involved higher up with a lot of things.
Right.
Obviously, he was there when the cage fighting was happening, and he's the one who smelled the dart to realize that it wasn't lethal, that she just put him to sleep, because he's the poison specialist who trained her.
Right.
He might actually be the one who set all the bounty hunters on her, or rather tipped the guy off to where she was at that rich people party mansion.
Oh, interesting.
And then, I don't know the name of the actor who plays the guy, but I've seen him in some stuff before.
Rob Stewart.
Rob Stewart?
Yeah,
no, not the white guy, the Asian dude.
Oh, that is Sean Beek. I don't know how to say his last name.
Was he from? Was he in Marco Polo?
I don't know.
Okay, I've seen him in something before.
But he plays Fancy Lee, who is another bounty hunter. I think
we're going to see a lot of him.
Oh yeah.
Fancy Lee. I mean, with that kind of name.
Yeah, you don't name a guy Fancy and her Dutch. What a great! I love the nicknames on this show. So let's talk a little bit about Aaron while you look. John, played by Aaron Ashmore, who, as you guys may have recognized, Aaron Ashmore was on Lost Girl.
Aaron Ashmore is who Sean Overman, who's engineering our show, thinks I am a twin of.
No, Sean Ashmore is the twin of Aaron Ashmore. Not you.
No, Sean.
I agree. You kind
Sean
of look
thinks
like
that
him.
I look exactly like him, and I don't see it at all.
I don't see it.
You don't.
Yeah.
Sean Ashmore
You
looks like Aaron Ashmore.
You look like the Iceman, Stephen.
That's Sean.
That's who we're talking
That's
about.
Sean Ashmore.
Yeah, different Ashmore.
Wrong Ashmore.
There's two Ashmores?
That's what I'm saying.
There's more Ashmore?
There's
Yes.
actually 3, and the third one's in the studio with you guys.
God Dang it.
Okay.
I'm confused now.
I'm super confused. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably confused because this has been kind of a dance of a conversation. You know, and if you guys really like dancing, I got to tell you something really quick. You know, you can apply to Dance Battle America. This is ABC's newest competition special from our very own AfterBuzz founder and e-host Maria Menounos, and it's produced alongside Julianne Hough, you know her from Dancing with the Stars. It's Dance Battle America. During the holiday seasons over the last 2 years, Julianne and Maria have been doing these fearsome dance battle videos via social media, kind of fighting it out, getting everyone involved, getting the audience involved. You know, it's had Kate Hudson, Amber Riley, all these people have kind of joined in to create these crazy videos, and now the ladies are challenging everyone in America to battle it out for the chance to fly here to Los Angeles to compete on the dance show. What? Here's an opportunity of a lifetime. If you want the chance to dance on network television, go to www.dancebattleamericacasting.com. www.dancebattleamericacasting.com for more information on how to submit your video. And remember, you don't have to be a dancing pro like Julianne Hough. Just have fun with it. That's why Dance Battle got started and why it took off, because it was just the fans having fun. So once again, submit your dance videos to dancebattleamericacasting.com right now. Don't wait.
Do you think I could get on if I just like do the robot? It's pretty cool. I got.
I think I could probably get on with the Bangarang.
Okay. Anyway, John.
If you can dance better than us, which is not hard, you should try it.
So, Killjoys.
John. So John was caught stealing Dutch's ship, and thus she invited him to start working with her. I love that. I love that that's the story, and that they like live together and work together and everything but sleep together.
He's Sir Jorah friend-zoned.
I love Sir Jorah. And then we find out that he has a brother, Davin, who people probably remember from Brothers and Sisters or The Night Shift, who, I gotta say, I was convinced that he should be on the show when we met him shirtless. That was the way you start. That's how you introduce a character.
I didn't think he was, I thought he was too young for you, but...
I mean, he's a little young. But
how about her master? I think that's more your style.
Yeah, Rob Stewart is very attractive. Anyway.
Especially the faux hawk.
Shut up. So, Dav was a soldier.
Don't forget that his name has an apostrophe in it. It's Davin.
It's
Davin.
not Davin. It's Davin.
It's Davin.
Okay. Yes, there is an apostrophe. He has PTSD. He was enlisted for 9 years, and he's a soldier, which is kind of, I mean, Dutch is also kind of a soldier.
But he has a kill warrant on him, level 5. And let me remind you, at the end of this episode, we still don't know who the hell he pissed off to put that on him.
Right.
Or what he did.
Yeah.
Like, he's, for all we can see, he's not doing anything super illegal. He's not a part of any rogue organizations that we can see.
Yeah.
So he's just like an indentured fighter on some, like...
Basically, he's a prisoner and he's trying to work off his debts, but it's one of those loan shark scams where you never get out from under your debts. Basically, slavery.
I mean, it was a slave ship. It said slave ship.
You shouldn't use that word lightly.
But that's what it was.
That's what it was.
So Johnny...
What do you want from me?
So Johnny breaks in to try to do it, so he dresses up and, like, arranges the fight. And we learn a little bit of their history here between Davin and Johnny. And Davin's been gone for 8 years, didn't even know his mother had passed away.
Right.
And they don't know what the hell's been going on with him.
In that moment, I thought that was going to be a fake out. Like, he's like, mom's dead. And then he decks him, and he's like, dude, she's still alive.
The oldest trick in the book, the old mom's dead thing.
That's such a dick move.
But that would have been a great, like, fighting move. Like clearly he's losing that fight. Like, he would have gotten destroyed if not for a knockout dart hitting his brother in the neck.
It works every time.
Well, I like that we had Dutch had to fix all the mistakes. We got to meet her, the warrant...
Her handler, basically.
Her handler. The warrant broker, whose name was Baelish Hardy. Baelish, spelt without an H at the end, but pronounced Baelish.
Okay. I'll buy that.
I don't understand the spelling on this show.
Just buy it.
Okay.
Buy into it.
It's space spelling.
Killjoys.
I really hope that we get an explanation as to why they're called Killjoys.
Bangarang.
Shut up. I mean, I get that they kill your joy.
by
capturing
murdering
you.
or
I think if you're having a fun time and you're doing some crime, I mean, they kind of kill your buzz. They kill your joy.
Or it could just be that the idea is that they get their joy out of killing people.
No, because that's obviously not the case.
Well, but like from an outside perspective, like then that's just the name that they start to it takes on.
Because Killjoys is like the slang term.
Yeah.
Because they are reclamation agents.
But I mean, like if somebody's like, you ever call somebody a killjoy before? They're the people who immediately when they walk into the room, it just bums everyone out. They're like, God, they're here.
They're party poopers.
We've had to work with them before. You know, it's not fun to have them around. So I feel like if a bounty hunter walks into a bar, everyone just knows that it's going to suck. And like, oh, great, the killjoys are here.
Somebody's going to die or get kidnapped.
But that's what's great. Is that it is something simple like Killjoys. It's not like some really weird alien or a really weird space name for these guys. Like, these damn Killjoys out
We're
here.
the Atheltons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a simple, just like colloquial English word.
They couldn't
like
exactly say the show's Syfy's Debbie Downers.
That'd be really funny. Had a bunch of bounty hunters called just the Debbie Downers.
I mean, I hope there's like a history episode where we see how it evolved into this. I mean, I really like when we get backstory episodes anyway. So
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely get a lot more backstory, especially with Dutch. I'd like to see the brothers as kids, like interacting with their parents, because we know that Johnny vouches for his brother in this show.
Yeah.
But we don't know who the hell he is, and we don't know why he's vouching for his brother so vehemently. Because I mean, 8 years. You had to have done something really substantial aside from just being his brother for him to really vouch that you're a good person after 8 years.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, if the show had any like main like weaknesses in this pilot, it was that we didn't really get a lot of character development for these. But again, that's the struggle of like launching a science fiction show, is that's really, really hard to do within a pilot. Now they've built the world. The second episode is where they'll establish who these characters are and why we should give a damn about them.
Yeah.
And then the third episode is where, generally speaking on these shows, they finally tell a story.
Right.
Like, this is an episode of the show that's no longer establishing anything. We're just off to the races.
Yeah, well, I mean, this whole first episode really was, let us explain this entire world to you, especially, I mean, the plot line of the episode was just make sure you understand that there is a revolution coming and that there is a company that rules everything and that we have to find this guy who is a revolutionary, who is a monk, who, stole something from the I want to call them the factory, the company, like
the factory's another corporation in this world.
Seriously, but like the entire plot of the episode was, this is the world we're in. This is, how it works. These are the rules, as opposed to a story, as you were saying.
Did you notice the first scene of this show is the first scene of Archer?
A little bit.
I did not, but that's great.
Except that
I was actually expecting it, thanks to Archer. Unfortunately, I was like expecting it to be like a ruse or something like that.
Oh, I mean, the whole time he's there, I'm like, look, I know just from like the most minimal press that I've seen, that's all like one teaser of this, like, and I knew that he's the main character, so it's like, okay. He's going to break out of this one way or another. I partially expected the third, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew there were 3 people.
Right.
So when she got captured, I was like, oh, so then now the third guy's going to bust in, smack them all in the face.
I mean, the first scene was literally the promo.
Yeah.
It was just clips from that first scene. So we heard the joke about his balls chafing. We heard, we saw her pulling out the gun from between her legs. Like, that was the promo. So that whole first scene, I was like, well, I know what's going to happen. Like, let's get to the second scene.
Oh, I didn't even see that promo. So I was just like, there's a gun coming out of her crotch.
I kind of want to be more of a smartass, though. Like, just a little bit more of a smartass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking like Ryan Reynolds, Blade 3.
Johnny, you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so,
tones it down too much now.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. That's the thing, is I need his character to be developed a little bit more, because like I don't get the sense that he's into Dutch at all. Mm-hmm. We saw him like wander away with some random like
girl.
Well, I don't think we're supposed to think he's into Dutch.
Yeah, I'll just call her bar wench.
Yeah.
She just walks up, is like, hey, hey, and then they walk off together. No reason to believe they knew each other.
Honestly,
I'm
with the
sorry.
naming conventions this show uses, her script might have actually just said bar wench.
I'm offended. She could be confident woman. Yeah, she is confident woman.
No, not judging her for
She
being a bar
walks up.
wench.
She
That's
walks
just
up
what
and says, "Hey," and knows that that's all she needs. Confident woman. That was what her.
There's no space STDs apparently.
There might be.
I mean,
That would be a great episode. To
if there
discover.
is, you just get that old guy to run up and stab you in the chest with an antidote needle.
Seriously. All right, so we've essentially covered most of the episode. The only other thing is kind of this revolution that is building that we learn a little bit more about. But we don't really hear anything about it. We just know that there is a revolution building and that the company knows it's happening.
We don't even know why the company is evil. Like,
Right.
other than the fact that it's a company that like owns
called The
everything.
Company.
Right now, there's nothing to suggest that they're evil.
I think once we kind of dive into the slums more,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're going to
probably.
kind of realize because I mean, it's a sci-fi show. There's going to be political commentary.
Right.
There's going to be the 99% in this show because
Oh,
we've
yeah.
seen the 1% in this episode. There's going to be like the really dirt poor people in the next one.
Right.
And I think it was actually interesting too. What people might have not understood is what's his face, Davin was wearing the contacts, and that's why he could shoot the guy because they thought it was because they were Dutch's contacts because under her guise that's what they were blaming it on. That's why. But then when she goes to there and they're gonna either expel her or kill her or
At the
whatever,
rack.
we're trying to figure out what the hell could have prevented her, and I'm thinking it's that guy. I'm thinking it's because of her connections to that assassination guild or whatever you want to call it. It's probably just called the guild.
Okay. Sorry.
I figured that's why, because she is who she is.
Yeah, I mean, if she really is a sleeper agent for some governing body,
Right.
That's the other thing. It's like I had that theory that like the company might be in charge of the rack, but it could also just be that old dude.
The old dude I saw him and I was like, oh, it's Handsome Jack from Borderlands.
Interesting.
If anyone ever got that, like tweet at me because like that's the immediate kind of feeling I got. Is he's the guy who's in control of everything.
Yeah. I think it might be time to head into predictions.
Oh, I thought we were in predictions this entire time.
I mean, we kind of were.
It's a science fiction show.
And it's the first
Your
episode. You can't.
AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I'm going to start with a quick one. The bar that they go to, the Royale, it's going to be like the place at the end of each episode where they like do stuff and hang out and
Okay.
I feel like that's going to be the end of the episode thing.
No.
Lost Girl does that a lot.
I think within the next two episodes we get Davin and Dutch having to go undercover as lovers
I like that prediction a
because
lot.
you want to push them together. Like the writing's pushing them together.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, how nice was that shot of her like
On the
swaggering
bed.
down the? Oh, and I was gonna say her swaggering down the hall like. In that dress with like
She
the like crazy
looked
open
so
back, just like after she murdered a bunch of people.
Well, then no, she didn't murder any of them. She didn't kill any of them.
She blew up the
but-
walls and they passed out.
Yeah, but even walking, even like when Davin looks at her ass and Johnny calls him out on it, she like smirks and stuff like she's
Right.
trying to get him. She likes that body.
I mean, it's a great body.
Bang-a-rang.
I would bang that body.
I think we're gonna see that Davin's story.
It's Davin.
Davin. His story is gonna come back. I think there's a lot more to him than we see. I mean, obviously
Right.
there's a lot more, but I think that he's gonna wind up either he is back with them intentionally, or whoever set up the warrant, put out the warrant on him, did it to get him back with Johnny and now with Dutch.
Oh man, I have a prediction.
Yeah.
So end of episode 2, 3, or 4,
Okay.
and I haven't seen any of these episodes. I'm gonna say that they're gonna find out the name of the guy who put the level 5 kill on Davin, and they're gonna be like, it was Dad. and cut to black.
Bum, bum.
Let's go get Dad. Like, let's go talk to Dad.
Their father.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dad.
Thank you, Sean in the booth.
Well played.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw in the promos that Davin joins the Killjoys. He starts training to do that. It also looks like we have questions of who Dutch really is and if they can trust her. And then there seems to be a war in the Quad, and Dutch is told by the rebels/monk people that she has to choose a side. And it looks like she's kind of involved in the war or something. I don't know. So much in the because it was a trailer for the whole season.
Well, if you call in too many favors from every which side, one of them is going to want to call it in.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm going to say there's going to be a love triangle that if I were writing this show or it were Lost Girl, that love triangle would be more...
Well, you'll like Andrew Fedge's, or his want, I guess, not necessarily a prediction, but he says, we need a boyfriend and girlfriend for Johnny to offset the Dutch to Avin thing. I'm like, that's up Yael's alley right there.
Very much up my alley.
2 predictions right now, because I think we have a little bit of time. One is I predict you're going to hit that thumbs up button on the YouTube video right now.
Nice.
We got 15 of you guys in here, so just go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It really helps us out, keeps us searchable.
Good
Second prediction, because that was more of a command, superliminal messaging. I think that one of the red boxes that she got before this entire journey, I think one of her overarching goals is to watch Johnny.
Ooh.
I think keeping an eye on Johnny is actually something that they've instructed her to do. Because if you look at her, and you look at like her history from what we know, it doesn't really make any sense at all that he's with her. That she would let him join the Killjoys, that she would bring him along on all these things. Like, it really doesn't make any sense at all.
So then I'm going to say I predict that may not be the truth, but that the box that she just got, that we don't know what's in it, is actually instructions to get Davin to join the Killjoys so she can keep an eye on him. That's what I think.
Or to kill him.
Or to have sex with
joy.
him. With joy.
I like Steven's prediction.
No, but that's what killing somebody with joy is. You have sex with them. Yeah,
Death by snoo. The soul is willing, but the body is fleshy and weak.
You guys are worse than I am. That's not true. Steven, why don't you let the people know where they can follow you on Twitter and tell you to shut up?
Well, thank you for tuning into the After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. This has been the Killjoys After Show for Season 1, Episode 1, entitled Bangarang. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, STPHENLEMIEUX, as well as on the Strain After Show coming up, and Graceland coming up this Thursday.
I'm Zach Wilson. You can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, THATZACHWILSON. And later this summer, I'm going to be on The Strain with Mr. Stephen Lemieux and Dominion, another sci-fi show. Come back for season 2.
Can't wait for that.
We all can't wait for
Angel Wars. Angels with guns, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
If you want to see us here every week, Sundays at 6 p.m. Tonight's a special night at 7, but we'll be back at 6. Also, you can tweet at me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest, Polymore, all of those, at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And everything I'm up to is on Yael TV. That's YAEL.TV. We'll see you next week, guys.
I want to say one more thing, guys.
Okay.
Before we go out, if you guys want to, you should support our engineer tonight, Sean Overman. He's got a book that he's writing. We got a GoFundMe and Kickstarter out there right now. Go ahead, just search for Los Angeles, the City of Discontent, and go ahead and throw like $10-15 his way. You know, you get a digital copy of the book and get all these incentives that are pretty cool, so go do that.
Yay.
It's actually a City of Angels and Discontent, Indiegogo.
There you go. Indiegogo, City of Angels and Discontent, because I'm too stupid to remember a title. All right, guys, thanks so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.